Hello, my name is Rick Hartzog, Assistant Chief of the Lakeland Fire Department. I'm here today to talk to you about a very important aspect of the overall health and safety of our firefighters, and that is cancer in the fire service. Our firefighters are exposed to many different forms of carcinogens from fires and hazardous materials each and every day on the job. Firefighters have a greater than 1 in 3 chance of getting cancer either while employed or in retirement. We currently have firefighters that are cancer survivors of known occupational type cancers where firefighters have a greater chance of getting than the general public. We want to tell you about the best practices that the Lakeland Fire Department has put into play to eliminate exposure to these dangerous cancer-causing agents. You're going to be hearing from Lakeland firefighters who are equally passionate about this very important issue, as well as firefighters who are survivors of cancer. It's very, very important to us to share our message with our firefighters, our community, other fire departments and municipalities, because together we can eliminate this dangerous problem that we have in the fire service.
My name is John Almskog. I'm the Division Chief of Training here at the Lakeland Fire Department, and I've been here for 20 years. A lot of the dangers that we encounter are mostly invisible, i.e. all of the byproducts of combustion that when we go into a residential structure fire per se, a lot of the materials are made of plastics, and benzenes, hydrocarbons, and things of that nature are byproducts of that combustion. And the most hazardous parts of these scenes become prevalent after the fire is out, and a lot of people don't know that. Besides the structure fires that I spoke of, there's such a wide variety of fires that are hazardous to our health, which require us to put on proper personal protective equipment, a self-contained breathing apparatus with the mask, and be on air to keep us from inhaling that. Now, that being said, that doesn't necessarily protect us fully from the contaminants and the products of combustion absorbing through our skin because we're not fully encapsulated in our firefighting, our structural firefighting gear. When we sweat, it opens our pores, and we could absorb a lot of those byproducts and contaminants. Over the recent years, it's become prevalent with a lot of studies that the University of Miami they've conducted with firefighters, and the ratio of firefighters getting cancer is far and above what someone that is not a firefighter would get. So we knew that we had to take action and give our employees and the people that we work with those preventative, protective measures to keep us safe. So one of the first preventative measures that we implemented here at the Lakeland Fire Department was the structural firefighting hood that goes over our firefighters' heads and neck, being that they had found that a lot of firefighters were getting thyroid cancer. It has a cancer barrier device in it to where the contaminants cannot be absorbed through that hood and touch your skin, so which was very important for us. Another thing that we had implemented was a direct source diesel capture device that actually affixes to the exhaust of our apparatus, so that when the apparatus is running, those fumes, if we're walking by, they're burned off, so those carcinogens are dissipated in that process. So wherever that apparatus goes, it is a cleaner air to breathe than if that device was not there. You would be inhaling those exhaust fumes. We also conduct what's called a clean air survey in the industry, where after we have knocked the fire down and put the fire out, we'll conduct that survey with a 5-gas monitor, and we'll have personnel walk through with proper PPE, personal protective equipment, and have an SCBA on air, and they will go from room to room or compartment to compartment and see if any of those devices alarm. to where if they do alarm, then we know during the overhaul phase to where if we have to look for hidden spot fires inside walls and things of that nature, we're still wearing the proper protective equipment to protect our firefighters. So as crews come out of that immediately dangerous to life and health atmosphere, they would come through and be decontaminated, where they keep all of their proper PPE on, they have an SCBA and they're on air, and they go right to an apparatus, and an individual that is assigned will actually wash them down with brushes and hoses. And we have learned through some different studies that we can actually leave 85% of all of the carcinogens and the contaminants that were on that scene. We can leave that there. So that is extremely important to start that process as soon as possible and to make their risk as minimal as possible. After they come out of the event, and to get most of the contaminants off of them, they will wipe these wipes on their skin, eyelids, ears, nose, everywhere that the uniform does not cover. After they've degraded from their structural firefighting gear, they will apply these wipes in all those places that are not covered. They're also degrading and taking off the firefighting equipment, their coat and pant, what we call bunker gear, and they're taking that to the command post as well, and they're placing that in contractor style yard bags, taping those up, and then throwing those into the hose bed, which are on the exterior of our fire apparatus. That way they don't have to ride back with that equipment in the cab. Although 85% of those contaminants can be left on that emergency scene, we don't have a way to necessarily do a gross decontamination of their structural firefighting hood. So what we do on the emergency scene is they come to the command post, and they will, after their gross decontamination, they will receive another clean hood that is not contaminated for their availability to run the next emergency call, and it could be right then. And recently, we've implemented foot washing stations at all 7 of our fire stations, so that with our personnel's their uniform, shoes, and boots, before they walk back into the living quarters, they step into these foot washing stations, and they're able to disinfect and decontaminate not only things that might be carcinogenic, but biohazards and other different items that might get picked up during the workday and on emergency scenes, both fire and medical. They arrive back to their respective stations. We want them to get a shower immediately, so they will take their uniform items, and we're in the process of outfitting all of our fire stations with washers, uniform items that were underneath their structural firefighting gear. They will launder those. In the meantime, they will go immediately, they're out of service, and they will take a shower, and they will get a clean uniform on. So when I speak of the extractors that we have in all of our fire stations, those are specifically designed to commercially launder our structural firefighting equipment. So it is not like the washer that you have in a residence. It is specifically designed to get rid of those contaminants, and we have special detergents and special ways to agitate our equipment to where it alleviates any item that would be a contaminant. So here at the Lakeland Fire Department, we make spare gear available that are in a couple different sites that are in cages for people to change out their contaminated gear for clean gear, with the eventuality that our goal is during an amortization cycle to be able to issue each and every one of our employees a second set of bunker gear that would be proprietary to that person, fitted custom for that individual.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2006.
I am a cancer survivor. I had testicular cancer about 5 years ago, which required surgery.
I ended up having a mammogram early because I had a place that was tender when I touched it, and I just felt like maybe it was something that I needed to get checked out. So I went in and expressed my concern to the doctor. I wasn't thinking cancer. He didn't have any suspicion of that as well.
Actually, when I first noticed it, I was on duty We were playing a game of basketball and I started to feel pain down in my groin. So I stopped playing and gave it a few days. The pain didn't go away.
I went for that, and they thought they may have seen something and just wanted to do an ultrasound to be sure. And when they did that, they found a place that they wanted to biopsy. I had the biopsy done on a Friday, and I was told that it would take 1 to 2 weeks to get the results back.
I went straight to a urologist, just because of my background. I knew a few of those guys. And he took him about 15 minutes of examining me, and he just laid it on me, told me, yes, you probably have cancer. We're going to send you to get a biopsy and an ultrasound, but you need to clear the rest of your year out, probably.
I received the phone call, and when I looked down and saw the number, I knew that it was bad news. It's a very surreal feeling when you hear at 38 years old with no family history that you have cancer.
Everything I read said that firefighters were 2 times at a higher rate of gaining or getting testicular cancer. And everything that I read was from pulling up your bunker pants at night and you having that exposed area of your groin that would get hot, and it's just more apt to start or get cancer. Is the best way I can describe it.
Cancer prevention in the fire service is of utmost importance. There is so much research and data being done now that shows that we are more likely to have cancer than the general population.
Firefighters can do a lot to protect themselves, cleaning their gear, making sure they're doing the right things and using the tools available to them to decrease their cancer chance.
It's important to put those precautions in place because we're finding that we're even taking carcinogens home to our families, and that's something that we've never been aware of before. So it's very important not just to protect the online personnel, but the firefighters' wives and children as well.
When you tell your guys or tell other firefighters and try to put it in perspective that it's not really you're protecting, it's your family, it's your kid, so he can see you, when he's 18 and graduating, so you can help him drive his first car, so you can watch him play Little League. Tell the guys that and what cancer might affect down the road, they get it.
I don't want anybody else to go through what I went through if there's a way to prevent it. And so I think with the foot wash stations, with our shower within an hour, with our decon procedures, I think all of these things are so vitally important, and to educate these new guys coming up, to make them aware of the dangers that they do face in doing this job that they probably never considered when they decided to choose this career.
It's very important to me in my position as the Division Chief of Training and also head of the Health and Safety Committee to really embrace some of the things that we're doing for preventative measures so that individuals here can enjoy their career and also enjoy their retirement with their family. And that's personal to me.
You have learned about some of the things the Lakeland Fire Department is doing to protect our firefighters from harmful cancer-causing agents. By keeping our firefighters healthy and safe, they can in turn respond in your time of need and keep you healthy and safe too.